أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. O Allah, send your blessings on Muhammad and the family of Muhammad. In the name of Allah, the All-Beneficent, the All-Merciful. O Allah, I begin the glorification of you with praising you, and you always guide us to the right out of your favoring upon us. And I am certain that you are the most merciful of all those who show mercy in situations of pardon and mercy. But you are the very exacting in situations of giving exemplary punishment and chastisement to the wrongdoers. And you are the greatest omnipotent in the domain of absolute power and might. O Allah, you have permitted me to pray and beseech you. So listen, O the All-Hearer, to my words of praise, and please reply my prayer, O the All-Merciful. And please overlook my slips, O the Oft-Forgiving. You, O my God, have relieved so many of my griefs, and you have dispelled so many of my sorrows, and you have overlooked so many of my slips, and you have spread over me many of your mercies. And you have unlocked so many of rings of misfortune in which I was detained. All praise be to Allah, who has not betaken wife or son, and who has no partner in the sovereignty, nor he has any protecting friend through dependence, and magnify him with all magnificence. Allah is the greatest. All praise be to Allah with all gratitude for all His bounties. All praise be to Allah who has no opposition in His rule, nor there is any challenge to His commands. All praise be to Allah who has no counsel to meddle with His operation of creation, nor there is anything similar to Him in His greatness. All praise be to Allah whose commandments are active in the creation and the praising of who is incumbent. His glory is evident through His kindness. His distinct overflowing generosity is freely available. His unlimited bestowals do not exhaust, and He does not swell the numerous benefits except because of generosity and kindness. Verily, He is mighty, generous. O Allah, I ask for some from much, in the midst of my many needs for which I entirely depend upon you, and you since eternity are able to do without them, but for me it is a titanic effort, and for you it is a very easy and simple. O Allah, truly as you pardon my sins, and you overlook my mistakes, and you take a lenient view of my disorderly conduct, and you cover up my foul actions, and you show consideration in spite of my many transgressions committed willfully or neglectfully. All that tempted me to ask for that which I do not deserve from you on account of your mercy, that you may give me the daily bread, and you may provide with that which is suitable for me through your control, and you may distinguish me with favorable reply to my requests. So I persist in calling out, believing in you, and I invoke you, talking familiarly, not afraid nor shy, but assured of your loving kindness whenever I turn to you at temporary setback, and I, out of ignorance, begin to despair. Although perhaps slowing down may be a blessing in disguise, because you alone knows all the consequences. I do not know a generous master who is more accommodating to the dissatisfied servants than you are to me. O Lord, you give an invitation, but I turn down, and you become familiar with me, but I do not care for you, and you show affection to me, but I do not correspond to you, as if you are overreaching me, yet you do not abstain from having mercy upon me and doing favors to me, and blessing me out of your magnanimity and generosity. So please have mercy on your ignorant servant, and bestow upon him with the favors of your beneficence. Verily you are generous and kind. All praise be to Allah, the owner of the sovereignty, who sets the course of skies and the stars, who controls the winds, who causes the daybreak, and who administers the authority, the Lord of the worlds. All praise be to Allah for His indulgence, although He has full acquaintance with all things. All praise be to Allah for His amnesty, although He has full power over all things. All praise be to Allah for the respite that He allows in spite of provocation. He is able to do whatever He wills. All praise be to Allah, the Creator of all the created beings, who makes the sustenance freely available, who starts the day, who is the owner of glory, might, favors, and bounties, and who is so far away that none can ever see Him, and in the same time He is so near that He is fully aware of even the whispering secrets. Blessed and exalted be He. All praise be to Allah, who has no equal to challenge Him, nor is there an image comparable to Him, nor is there a helper to assist him. He tames the powerful by his force, and disgraced are the great ones before his greatness. So he, through his power, fulfills that which he wills. All praise be to Allah, who gives answer to me whenever I call him, and he covers up my shortcomings, yet I disobey him. And he gives me the largest part of the bounties, yet I do not show his gratitude. Many auspicious favors had he given me, and many a terrible dangers had he turned off, and many a blossoming joys had he made available for me. Therefore I sing his praises and recite his glorifications, and mention him with exaltation. All praise be to Allah, whose screen cannot be penetrated, and whose door is not blocked, and whose beseecher is not rejected, and one who hopes him is not disappointed. All praise be to Allah, who secures the frightened ones, who comes to the help of their upright ones, who promotes the cause of the weak ones, annihilates the autocrats, who destroys rulers and appoints others instead. All praise be to Allah, the eradicator of the tyrants, the terminator of the unjust ones, the catcher of the fugitives, the punisher of the unjust ones, the aid of the seekers, the settler of the needs of the beseechers, and the support of the faithful believers. All praise be to Allah. In His inspiring fear, the heavens and its dwellers tremble and shiver, and the earth and its inhabitants shake and quiver, and the oceans and all that which float and swim in their waters flow together in excitement and tumult. All praise be to Allah, who has guided us to this. We could not truly have been led aright if Allah had not guided us. All praise be to Allah, who creates but He is not created, and He gives subsistence but He needs no provisions, and He gives foods to eat but He takes no nourishment, and He makes the living dead, and He brings the dead to life, but He is the ever living. There is no death for Him. In His hands is all the good, and He is able to do all the things. O Allah, please do send blessings on Muhammad, your servant and messenger, and your confident friend and beloved intimate, and the choicest of your created beings, and the bearer of your sacraments, and the quotient of your messengers, who with the most superior, the most exquisite, the most handsomer, the most perfect, the most upright, the most prospering, the most pleasant, the most thoroughly purified, the most sublime, the most and the best blessings, advantages, mercies, and affections, and salutations that you have ever made available to any one of your servants and prophets, and messengers, and choicest people, and those honored by you from among your created beings. O Allah, please send blessings on Ali, the commander of the believers, and the successor of the messenger of the Lord of the world, your servant, your beloved representative, and the brother of your messenger, and your decisive argument over the mankind, and your most important sign, and the great news from you. And please do send blessings on the truthful, pure lady, Fatima, the doyen of the women of the world. And please do send blessings on the sons of the mercy to the world, and the two leaders of true guidance, Al-Hassan and Al-Hussein, the two chiefs of the dwellers of the paradise. And please do send blessings on the leaders of the Muslims, Ali bin Al-Hussein, Muhammad bin Ali, Ja'far bin Muhammad, Musa bin Ja'far, Ali bin Musa, Muhammad bin Ali, Ali bin Muhammad, Al-Hassan bin Ali, and the successor, the guide and the rightfully guided. Those Imams are your decisive arguments over your servants, your truthful confidence in your lands, blessings that are numerous and non-stop. O Allah, please do send blessings on the custodian of your commandments, the vigilant guardians, the reliable patron, and the awaited justice. And please surround him with your favorite angels, and assist him with the Holy Spirit. O the Lord of the worlds, O Allah, please choose him to be the caller to your book and the fore-establisher of your religion, and make him succeed in the earth as you caused those who were before him to succeed, and establish for him his faith which you have approved for him, and give him an exchange safely after the fear. He serves you, he ascribes nothing as partner to you. O Allah, please give him power and authority, and through him strengthen the people, and give him the necessary assistance, and through him support the people, and help him with a mighty help, and make him prevail over all with easiness, and delegate him your controlling authority. O Allah, please give currency to your religion and to your Prophet's traditions through him, so that nothing which is just and genuine is kept concealed from any one of the human beings. O Allah, We ardently desire that you confer upon us a respectful government through which you may reactivate Islam and stimulate its followers, and and humiliate the impostors and their double-dealing shams, and include us among those who invite people to the obedience to you, and lead them to your approved path, and give us the good of this world and the world to come. O Allah, let us bear out and hold up that which you make known to us as the truth, and let us be fully aware of that which we fall short of doing. O Allah, through him set in order our disorder, gather and unite our flock, stitch together our ripped open separation, turn our want and poverty into enough, lift us up from our degradation, free us from our misery, pull us out from our debts, set up our poverty, fill the gap created by confusion among us, let our difficulties be easy to deal with. Refine our substance and style, untie our ropes and straps, let our efforts succeed well and secure success. Make us fulfill our promises, give answers to our prayers, listen to our requests, cause us to obtain the good of this world and the hereafter. Give us much and more than our expectations, O the best of givers and bestowers, and cleanse our hearts, unburden our emotions from hate and anger, and in the event of dispute in the matter of truth, show us the right path. Verily you guides whosoever you will to the right path. Let us through him get the better of your enemies and our opponents. O true God, be it so. O Allah, we complain to you about the departure of your Prophet, your blessings be on him and on his household, and about the absence of our leader, and about the big numbers of our enemies, and about our few numbers, and about widespread disorder, and about vicissitudes of time against us. So please do send blessings on Muhammad and his household, and help us overcome all that through victory from you expedite, and through relieving us from our injuries, and through your help that you confirm, and through bringing in the rule of justice and fair play, and through mercy that you expand over us, and through good health that you cover us with. Out of your mercy, O the most merciful of all those who show mercy, O Allah, send your blessings on Muhammad and the family of Muhammad. Surah Al-Fatiha.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، خالق السماوات والأرض، إلها واحدا أحدا صمدا لم يتخذ صاحبة ولا ولدا، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين، خاتم النبيين، رحمة للعالمين، طه وياسين بالقاسم محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين المنتجبين، ورحمة الله على محبيهم ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين من يومنا هذا إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، فقد قال الله سبحانه وتبارك في كتابه الحكيم وفرقانه المجيد وقوله الحق: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Respected sisters and brothers, my youngsters, my elders, viewers, Assalamu alaikum jamiyan wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace and blessings of Allah be upon all of you. This month of Ramadan, the blessed month, the glorious month, the month of fasting and the revelation of the Holy Quran, our discussions have gone around the messages of the Holy Quran, how we can make ourselves better, how our understanding needs to be in conformity with what Islam requires us to think about, reflect upon, and inshallah become good human beings, good servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that Allah will be proud of us, that we will truly be what is called Abdullah, the servants of Allah, and that we will be making our efforts to please Allah. The holy month of Ramadan gives us this opportunity to reflect upon that and strive towards that. Make a struggle towards that. This is something that Islam is the minimum thing that Islam expects of us, that we make our efforts for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Almighty Creator. And fasting is one way of doing that. Yesterday in our discussion, we were talking about parents, about our obligation to parents. A number of things will just be added in today's discussion before I come to the next station on children. And when I say that, I'm reminding myself and the believers to remember that all of these things are trusts. And I want to just reiterate and re-emphasize that whatever we have got are a trust from Allah. These are an amana. These don't belong to us. These things do not belong. There's actually, if you look at it, from a very honest perspective, nothing really belongs to us. We might earn some money and we acquire something, whether it's an automobile, a house, clothing, ring, glasses, whatever we have got. We didn't have it one time. We have it now. In the future, we may not have it again. And even when we are earning the livelihood, the strength has come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The power has come from Allah. And in the salat, in the actual prayer, we mentioned something that perhaps we have not reflected upon or thought about. And that is that when we're getting up from the prostrations, when we're getting up from the sujood, and after the second sujood, we are saying, بِحَوْلِ ta'ala wa quwwatihi aqum wa aq'ud. It is with the power and strength that has been given to me from Allah that I am able to rise and stand. بِحَوْلِ ta'ala wa quwwatihi. This quwwah, this power that has been given to me by Allah. It is not mine. I myself have got nothing. It is the power that Allah has given me with which I am able to stand and rise. So when we remember that, when we think of that, things become a lot easier. That all the things around us are a trust, an amana from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, including our parents. And so, one time in some customs in India, this still takes place. Again, Marhum Ayatollah Akhtar Razavi narrated this in his writings, whereby he gives a story of what happens in some of the remote villages is when the father gets old, when he becomes very aged, they put him in this basket. They put him in a basket and they take him to the seaside, to the shores, and they just go and put the basket there and basically let him die over there. So one time, in this one family, where the Sayyid is narrating. In this family, there was the father, the elderly father, then his son, middle-aged person, and then the child was there as well. So three generations were there. So this middle-aged person was putting his father into this basket so he could take him there to basically go and die. So as he's putting his father, and the old man, the elderly man is crying. He's saying that I don't bother you. Why are you doing this? And basically, the son didn't want to hear any of this. As he was taking the basket towards the door to leave to go and put his father by the seaside, the young boy, the little boy, comes to him and says, "Baba, Baba, when you drop Dada, when you drop Grandpa to the river, can you please bring this basket back?" So the man, the father of this little boy, smiles, and he thought that maybe he wanted to use this basket to put his toys in, to play the toys. And kids want to play with baskets all the time. I'm sure all of you have experienced that sometime or another. A child wants to play with a laundry basket, or a food basket or something or another. So the father says, "Yes, my dear, yes, beta, I will bring this basket back. What do you want to use it for?" He says, "So that when you get old, I will use the same basket to put you in and take you there, so I don't have to worry about looking for another basket." Allahu Akbar. So I'll put you in the same basket and take you there. When the father heard this, he got petrified. He takes his dad, the grandpa, out of the basket and says, "Dada, you will stay with us, inshallah." So, what goes around comes around. Even the Western world understands this. There was a very famous king at the time of the Holy Prophet. His name was Noshirwan. Noshirwan, it is narrated, was the king of what is present-day Iran, Persia, the Persian Empire. He was the king. And he had one quality that he was very well known for. He was known for his justice, for his adala. And in fact, some scholars have mentioned that he may not face the fire of Jahannam, the fire of hell, for this one quality, even though he did not believe, even though he was not a believer. But he had this quality of justice, adala. And one day somebody asked him, "Noshirwan, why are you so just? How did you acquire this policy of justice?" And he replies, he gives a beautiful reply. He says, "One day I was watching a man beat his dog. He hit his dog so hard and he broke the leg of the dog. The dog was injured. The man got on his horse, was going somewhere. The horse, brayed or whatever. The horse just, went and anything. And the man fell from the horse and the man's leg broke. Some steps later, the horse, this one leg falls into like a gutter or a hole, a pothole, and the horse's leg breaks. The horse's leg breaks. I realized at that time that there is a certain what goes around comes around, as we say in English. So whatever somebody does, it will come back to them." And the same Noshirwan, it was narrated one time in his biography. He says that one time when he was young, he was in school, and his teacher calls him to the front, and for no reason hits him, beats him, hits him really humiliatingly, embarrassingly, and basically for no reason. And Noshirwan remembers this, and he says, "One day I'm going to get back at that teacher." Years and years later, he becomes the king, because his father was the Shah, the king. Obviously, he would be the next king. He became the king, and he summons that teacher to his courtyard. He summons the teacher to the court. And he says, "Do you remember when I was in school? You were my teacher." The teacher says, "Yes." He says, "One day you called me to the front and you hurt me for no reason. I didn't do anything and you hurt me." The teacher says, "Yes." He says, "I'm going to punish you for that. I'm going to punish you for that. But before I do that," because I don't know, Shirwan was known for his justice. Before I do that, I just want to know, why did you do that to me? Why did you do that?" The teacher replies, a beautiful reply. He says, "Your father was the king. I knew you would become the king. I wanted you to taste injustice. I wanted you to taste injustice so that inshallah, God willing," I'm saying God willing, "so that when you become the king, I didn't want you to ever be unjust to anybody, because you know how it feels firsthand. La ilaha illallah. You will know how it feels firsthand to face injustice. And so I wanted you to experience that. That's why I did what I had done." Noshirwan was so impressed with this answer, he actually released the teacher. He didn't give any punishment. So you can see that, to be just is a very good quality, important quality, because it's a very challenging quality to be fair. And Noshirwan was one person in history that was actually, his title was Noshirwan Adil. So Noshirwan the just. So how we treat our parents. Eventually, some people have joked, perhaps it is real as well, that there is always the mother's curse. What's the curse of the mother? That I hope you have children just like you. I hope you have children just like you. And sometimes that curse is a real curse, because it happens that, our children will do things almost exact and identical to what we might have done to our parents, and now we know what it feels like. So coming back to what I was saying, I don't want to digress from our subject matter. Our obligation, our responsibility to our parents is where the fundamental importance is in Islam. Very, very emphatic. And to treat the parents, whether it's not raising our voices, the Holy Prophet has said, make sure you even walk behind them. Don't even walk in front of them, unless you're guiding them or leading them or something, but walk behind them. Keep your composure, your disposition, pleasant disposition. Make sure that you don't raise your voice. You don't. One time, Imam Sajjad, Imam Zain al-Abidin, the fourth Imam alayhi salam, was sitting and having lunch. And he was having lunch, but he was waiting until, now his birth mother had passed away. So this was his stepmother. He was having his lunch, but he was waiting for the mother to finish. Afterwards, when he was asked, Yabna Rasulullah, why did you wait for your mother, your stepmother, your mother to finish eating before you started eating yourself? But you still sat with her. He said, I wanted to sit with her to give her company, but I didn't want that she would be reaching for something and I would reach for the same thing and my hand would go on top of her hand. I didn't want that scenario to take place, so I let her finish and then I ate. You can imagine letting her finish so that my hand doesn't go on top of her hand and reach something that she might be wanting to. You see how Islam is reminding us to care for our parents. This is, again, as I mentioned in yesterday's discussion, just the tip of the iceberg. And then we come to the children. Now the parents also, and I mentioned in the previous discussion, the parents have to give a good name, they have to teach them goodness, they have to inculcate their values. In his Risalat al-Hukuk, Treatise of Rights, Imam Sajjad says that the parents have to remember that your son is a part of you, it's an extension of you. So if you want to be remembered in a good way, make your child good as well. And train them in good, for example, physical activity, whether it's archery, whether it's sportsmanship, horseback riding, swimming. There are so many things that Islam has encouraged as what a parent should be doing for their children. And there are hadith, there are narrations that talk about this, that talk about how parents should be inculcating values as well as physical, exercise and appreciation of the physical activities around us. So parents have that responsibility to start with. And then we are told, one of the things, again, in the Arabian Peninsula that never used to happen was a physical embracing, the kissing of children. If you kissed your child, if you hugged your child, you were seen as weak, you were seen as being almost sissy in the Arabian Peninsula prior to Islam. And so when the people used to see Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam hugging Imam Hassan, who were just young children, Imam Hussein, and even other children, when the people would see that, they would see that, why is he doing this? Why is he doing that? And the Prophet said that the rahmah of Allah, the mercy of Allah, is on those who treat children nicely and kindly. The Holy Prophet of Islam, in a book called Makarimul Akhlaq, the pinnacle of morals, the Holy Prophet has been quoted as saying that when you hug and kiss your child, your station in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increases. That means you become closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when you hug and kiss your child. It actually becomes an ibadah, an act of worship. So when you treat your child kindly, when you talk to them nicely, when you're pleasant with your children, you are actually serving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're getting closer to Allah ta'ala, the Almighty, simply by being kind to your child. So when I was mentioning in yesterday that, when sometimes parents who are abusive, or family members who are abusive, or those who feel that, that the children can be abused, the children can be made to do hard work, and not give them appreciation. All of this is completely contradictory to not only the laws of Islam, but even the laws of humanity. Not only Islam condemns abuse of children or abuse of anybody, elders, seniors, whatever, but as a humanitarian gesture, even if somebody didn't believe in Allah, even if somebody didn't believe in God, keep in mind that a child is innocent. A child is what we would call ma'soom, infallible. And a child, even the little errors and mistakes they make, it's because of their level. And our level is much higher, so we look at it from a different perspective. And you can see that how Islam reminds us to care for children and understand and appreciate their, the frailness, that they are frail. They will adopt and accept anything that goes around. And the upbringing of children. This is something that I perhaps should have mentioned before, but as it comes, I will share my thoughts with the viewers and the sisters and brothers. That when you talk about upbringing of children, and the countless books have been written about upbringing of children and how to bring up a child, what to do, what you should say, how you say it, the psychological implications, the philosophical implications of what you say, how you say it, what you do with your children. The upbringing of children, tarbiyat awlad, upbringing of children, doesn't start when the child is born. Remember that. It doesn't start when the child is born. It actually starts when you are selecting a potential spouse for yourself. We will not get to this subject today, but in our third part on amanat or trust, we will be talking about spousal relationships and interrelationships. And we'll, inshallah, try and remember to begin with how to select a spouse, how to select a life partner, and then from there, how the children's upbringing begins. So spouse selection is actually the first step in bringing up children. So once the child is born, you've already crossed one stage. So it's now, you can say that it's not too late, but what prayers that the mother had done while the child was in her womb, how she spoke to the child. Parents are encouraged to speak to the child. And there's been a book written by Sheikh Salim Bimji and Arifa Hudda called A Mother's Prayer, which talks about various du'as, supplications. The book is called A Mother's Prayer, and it talks about what you should do when the child is in the womb of the mother. There are du'as to be done when you want to expect a child, when you want to conceive, and while the child is in the womb of the mother. And so, what prayers we should be doing, what we should be doing, how we should be doing, are all mentioned in various books, whereby all these become part of the upbringing of children. Tarbiyat awlad. And so when the child is born, then you've already crossed one stage. Now, the breastfeeding part, if the mother is able to, this has been told not only in Islam, but in nature as well, that this breast milk of the mother is the best, most important thing for the mother. It helps the child to develop an immune system. It helps the child get its vitamins that it needs. The child, he or she, will get all the strength that it needs in those developmental years. The Quran Majid recommends and suggests 2 years of this weaning period, that the child should be breastfed for 2 years. And coincidentally, the mother, the new mother, can actually demand a payment from the father of the child, from her husband, for this stage as well. And these are things that I will talk about in spousal relationships, inshallah. But this is one of the things that we have been told, that has been naturally, Allah Ta'ala put it in the mother, that basically her fluids become milk for the child, a nourishment for the child, a source of vitamins and energy for the child. Now, here again, there's always discussion: should the woman go and fulfill her career? Should she do this? Should she do that? Look after the children? Should she become a stay-at-home mom? Whatever. What we're saying is, Islam does not order the mother to stay at home and only look after the child throughout her life, and nor does it say go out and work and earn a livelihood and help in the family's economics. Islam put the obligation of earning a livelihood on the husband, on the father. The husband's obligation is to earn the livelihood. Okay, that's one thing that is very clearly established. What we do find, and I'll inshallah speak about this in our next discussion as well. What we do find is that the person who is naturally more inclined and able to look after the child, bring them up, and basically provide an environment for that child's entire future is the mother. It goes without saying that even in English there are so many adages, one of which is a very famous one that I use oftentimes: the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. The hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. Very simple, very self-explanatory. That woman who is there with the child, she can bring up the child, she can inculcate values and morals into the child, and those values and morals will stay with that child for the rest of their lives. And oftentimes, I sometimes still remember that when I was young, and our lectures would not be in the English language. The lectures would be in Urdu or in sometimes in Gujarati and other languages which perhaps we did not understand when we were young. We only knew English. And I still remember at the age of 7 and 8, my mother sitting down and would translate that majlis from the night before into English or into my mother language that I spoke at home at the beginning stages, and would explain to me what the Maulana had said, what the Sheikh or the Sayyid had said, what was happening in the majlis, what special event it was, what special day it was. And those memories are still fresh in my mind, that was the time that my mother took with me to explain to me and my sister what was needed to be understood for that particular moment. And I'm sure all of you sitting here will remember moments from your mother who had imparted those values, those thoughts, and made you who and what you are today. So this is nature speaking. So to look after the child, to be loving, to be caring, the mother, what sacrifices the mother will give, nobody else can give. I had one alim, one scholar once tell me, in a neat way. He said that when the Muslims go for Hajj, when we go for Hajj, and we have to go between Safa and Marwa 7 times, because Hazrat Hajra, the wife of Hazrat Ibrahim, Lady Hagar, the mother of Ismail, she thought she saw water because her baby was thirsty, and thought she saw water there. So she went towards the mountain. She didn't see the water there. She looked over on the other side in Marwa. She thought water was there. She ran there. She didn't find water there. She again came back to Safa, and she went 7 times between these mountains, and until she didn't find the water, and Hazrat Ismail himself struck his foot down, and the well of Zamzam, the water of Zamzam, came from where he stood. But the fact that she went 7 times between these 2 mountains was an act of motherhood, motherliness, that one needs to really appreciate. So this one alim once told me, he said that if perhaps it was the father, Safa and Marwa would have only been once. He would look for water there, no water there, look for water there, no water there. Okay, I'm sorry, there's no water. So perhaps this may be a bit of a humorous episode, but see the mother, Hazrat Hajra, 7 times, inshallah there's water there, inshallah there's water there, inshallah, because the love of the child is so ingrained in the mother. So that's why the child also cannot forget that love of the mother as well. So we have to see that our love to the children, embracing them, kissing them, showing physical affection, is an obligation on the parents to their children as well, to treat them with kindness. And I'm not saying don't discipline them. A misconception goes on another side. Parents say, oh, we want to become friends of our children. We want to become friends. We want to be buddies so they can talk to us, they can communicate with us, and they can tell. Be careful, my dear sisters and brothers. Friendship between parents and children is not a really good idea. There has to be a level of respect. There has to be an understanding that is the parent and we are the child. Okay, don't try and get too friendly there. I'm not saying that you're allowed to be hurtful or harass them or bother them. No. That is a different issue altogether. But make sure that there's a level of respect that the child understands that we are the parents. We will make the decisions that are probably inshallah, the best for the child and the children. So that you have to keep in mind. Discipline, what I'm saying, is not physical discipline. Because one of the things that Islam is very clear on, if you physically discipline your child, if you physically hit your child, and there is a mark on that child, there is that diya, a kafara, a penalty to be given. What you will say, a fine that has to be given to that child based on how you have hurt the child. So Islam does not allow physical abuse. I know that there were some groups from this ISIS and Al-Qaeda and the Taliban. So you have to beat them and you have to beat this and you have to, this is completely against the teachings of Islam. Islam tells us to do it, lovingly, caringly. At the same time, not to neglect discipline and how to maintain order in the household, but not to do it from a level where the child gets physically hurt. So this pretty well concludes our discussion on these 2 levels, the parental and the intergenerational level, on family rights, responsibilities, and the amana. Inshallah, our next discussion will be on spousal relations, inshallah, and how they have to interact with each other. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept our amal, our deeds, our fasting, our prayers, our supplications, our recitation of the Holy Quran. Oh Allah, accept all of this from us, please. Forgive our sins, forgive our shortcomings, O Allah. Protect us from the evils of sin. Let us be able to act on the teachings of the Ahlul Bayt, the Prophet and his family, and the Holy Quran. O Allah, those who are ill, grant them cure from their illnesses. The marhumin, the deceased who have left us, grant them forgiveness and a happy place in their graves. When we leave this world, Ya Allah, protect us from the difficulties of death and the difficulties in the grave. Ya Allah, we ask you to protect our scholars, our ulama who are serving while the Imam is in occultation. Grant them a long and healthy life in the service of Islam. O Allah, hasten the return of Imam al-Hujjah, Imam Mahdi, to us. Let us be amongst the Ashab and the Ansar of the Imam and see Zamana al-Dhuhur, the era of reappearance, with our own eyes. رَبَّنَا تَقَبَّلْ مِنَّا إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ. O Allah, accept this from us. Surely you are the knowing and the seeing. Wassalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace and blessings of Allah be upon all of you.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. O Allah, help us to be like the ma'sumin who you love the most. Like Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam, give us the most excellent manners. Like Ali alayhi salam, make us brave and ready to do what makes you happy. Like Fatima alayha salam, let us be kind and caring towards our parents. Like Hassan alayhi salam, help us to be calm and forgiving. Like Hussein alayhi salam, keep us with the truthful. Like Ali Zainul Abidin alayhi salam, keep us busy in remembering you. Like Muhammad al-Baqir alayhi salam, give us knowledge that is useful. Like Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, make us appreciate the amazing world you have created. Like Musa al-Kadhim alayhi salam, help us to control our anger. Like Ali al-Rida alayhi salam, make us pleased with whatever you have planned for us. Like Muhammad al-Taqi alayhi salam, make us of those who have taqwa. Like Ali al-Naqi alayhi salam, help us to lead the Muslims towards good. Like Hassan al-Askari alayhi salam, help us to use our time in preparing for the 12th Imam. Like your Hujjah, Al-Mahdi Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif, may we bring peace by acting on the teachings of the Quran and the Ahlul Bayt. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad.